What's going on, y'all? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing. I'm very excited to showcase you guys an update on the most recent deck profile I did on the True King Yang Zings. Now, I updated this deck again because I actually did more research and received a bit of information that was kind of disturbing for me. So I actually had to make modifications to my main deck and my side deck to balance out what I'm going to be combating and make sure that I have outs and, methods of removal, and at the same time a way to combat every single playstyle that's going to be coming my way. So I do understand that there are a few decks that people have asked me to do. If I have not done it, the only reason is because I don't have the cards in my arsenal right now. I have a lot of cards, but for some reason a lot of the decks that I've been getting requests for, I just don't have them. Obviously if I have the cards, I'm literally just going to do the deck profile right then and there. But we're going over an update for my True King Yang Zings because this is actually the deck I'm planning on taking to YCS in San Antonio. And this is going to be basically the deck that I'm playing this format for a little bit, just until True Dracos die down, because I've had a very big issue playing against him with my Heralds. So I gave my Herald of Perfection deck just a minor break. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into this main deck, and we're going to show you exactly what I've done to the main deck to make sure that it's able to fight against anything that comes my way. Now, we're starting off with the best monster in the deck, in my opinion, is actually, the best True King, because Jiaotu by far is the best monster. Jiaotu is insane, but we're playing 3 Dosa Jim. Dosa Jim's best effect is actually when he's destroyed. I've explained to you guys in numerous videos where I brought back Dinlong, I brought back Baxia, used Baxia to bring back Magma Dragon to bring something else back, and just made huge comebacks off of one Dosa Jim play. He basically can revive any non-earth worm, including Calamities. You can pop Dosa Jim, bring out Calamities. If your opponent has the attribute that you need, or if you just have, for example, 1 water and you have Barastos, you can use your Barastos, pop your 1 water and your opponent's monster because Calamities is on the field and his effect is not detached. Dosa Jim does a lot of insane things. He overextends nearly every single combo. And the best part about his first effect is actually that he gets rid of Abyss Dweller, so you don't have to worry, because this deck can have a very difficult time dealing with Abyss Dweller. Not to say that it loses to it, because I've never actually lost to a Dweller. Like, I'm not lying to you, I never have. But it does slow me down in the sense that I have to really just basically set a strike, set a 9 pillars, or just set a Mirror Force and just wait. And wait until they try to make their push or bait out the Abyss Dweller via, with a strike or 9 pillars basically. So sometimes it can slow me down, but getting rid of the Abyss Dweller from their extra deck helps out a lot. So Dosa Jim's insane for that. And in the True King Dino Yang Zing matchup, you can banish their most important extra deck cards, which is insane. Dosa Jim is just such a broken card, giving you the information that's necessary so you know exactly what deck you're playing before your opponent even gets to open up with his plays. It's insane. Dosa Jim is just that broken. Then we're playing, so Dosa Jim, he's the disaster. Then we're playing 3 copies of Barastos, the Fathomer. He is insane for the combos. As long as you have Magma Dragon in your main deck, you're going to get maximum value out of this card. Another broken thing is you can actually, if you open up with 2 Yang Zing cards and him and Diagram, you can use Diagram, pop Barastos effect, special Jiaotu, because he's a non-water worm, which is in his effect, and then go into your Jiaotu combo off of Barastos. And the cool thing with that combo is because you're opening up with Diagram, if your opponent has the Ghost Ash, she'll hit the Ash on the Diagram. So it'll kind of be like a bait combo as well. And there are also times when you'll open up with Jiaotu, right? And you have Diagram, you always want to Diagram first, get your search, and if your opponent has the Ash, he's always going to use it on Diagram, because their grand assumption is you're playing Dracos, or that you're playing True King Dino, so they're going to Ash that Diagram. And then the problem now, because Ash is once per turn, you can go off with your Jiaotu combo with no worries of getting hit by Ash. So it's just really cool having access to different ways to produce your combos, so that way if your opponent cuts you off on one end, you have actually a secondary play to produce the same end result and generate the advantage that you need, which is necessary for your game state and able to overwhelm your opponent so quickly. It's insane. This deck puts so much pressure on the board. First turn, you have 1 turn to respond, and that's it. That's it. It's first turn setup, second turn kill. Like, if you let this deck live for 1 turn, it's going to go bananas. The combos are insane. It just wombo combos the crap out of you. This guy's just so clutch. My favorite actual combo is not when Barastos is destroyed. His effect when he's destroyed is pretty useful, but my favorite combo is actually when you call water and pop 2 monsters your opponent controls and banish 2 back rows your opponent controls, clearing 4 cards with this dude right here, himself, which helps you to play through back rows. That's another thing. This guy is your main deck out to back rows, banishing without targeting. In addition to the back row hate that I'm side decking, this allows you to play through back rows a lot easier. And when you reveal him, that's the only chance you have to respond, which is insane. Which also makes True Kings pretty broken. And I'm not gonna lie, aside from Dinos, True Kings are basically a rogue deck. They really are. They're not like you don't basically, if you look at the top 10 decks, there's no True King variant. For example, like how Metal Foes variants, there were a lot of Metal Foes variants topping. There's not a lot of True King variants topping. The only True King variant that tops is actually just a Dino deck that plays Diagrams and Dosa Jims. And it's not really a True King variant. It's a Dino variant that has a splashed engine of 9 cards to make it more powerful. And they might play like one Fire True King, which is Agni Mazood. Moving forward with my other True Kings, I'm not sure if this is a girl or a guy, but I call her a girl because, I don't know, she looks like a giant chicken, but her name is Mariamne, the True Draco Phoenix. Love the names, love the artwork. She has an effect, if you resolve her properly, where she can banish 4 cards from your opponent's deck. Every True King does not target or destroy, they just banish. They banish from Spell Trap Zone, from Graveyard, Monster Zone, Extra Deck, and your actual deck. They can touch anything, basically, which is really, really clutch. I decided to cut her from 3 to 2 because I actually cut my Pulao, which is basically the only target for her aside from drawing into multiple Mariamnes. He's the only target I have for her. So I felt since I'm cutting Pulao, I don't want to dead draw, you know, opening up with Mariamne and no wind outlet. The only other way you would have been able to do it is if you open literally double Mariamne, and I felt that playing 3 Mariamne wouldn't make it worth it because the only time you would resolve her effect to summon her would actually be if you have multiples of her. So she's naturally being used how I similarly used Barastos, which is just a target to destroy for your True King plays or for your Diagram. When you open up a Diagram, you can actually clear her away, get any True King that you need, and then search out a Chiwin, a Jiaotu, any Yang Zing that you need off of Mariamne. Or if you have Beyond, or a way to get Beyond, you can search out Dosa Jim and Barastos. Now you have the combo that I explained to you guys in the combo video, where you can go ham, bananas, get your Denlong, or you can do Calamities. It's insane. But I decided to cut her from 3 to 2, not because she's a bad card, but for my own personal reasons. And I have a lot of experience playing this deck now. I've actually been playing the deck for over a year since the Dark Illusion came out, when we just had him. So I was just playing 3 of him, 3 Swannies, and it was just crap. And then, you know, next thing you know, Barastos the Fathomer comes out. Then I was playing 3 Fathomer, 3 Agni Mazood. It was still crap. And then finally, True King Lethosagam the Disaster came out, and it got a little bit better because then I was playing 3 Agni Mazood, 3 Barastos, 3 Lethosagam. Then when she came out in Maximum Crisis and Dragonic Diagram came out, I was like, okay, the deck it's there now. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. It's broken. It really is. I love this deck a lot. I love the artwork too. The True Kings and the Yang Zings look alike. I think these are just the big daddies. I've decided finally to cut my Agni Mazood down to 1. The reason being, as long as I've been playing this deck, and also through the playtesting and actual tournaments, even though I'm undefeated with this deck to this day, I've actually had hands where I open up with him and no outlet. Or for example, I open up with him and he actually makes my head dead. My hand dead, like where he's just not good enough at times. He's really acting as an overextender for your combos, and his actual effect for the spot-on removal to banish a monster without targeting does come clutch, but in most scenarios, you don't need monster removal. You already have that covered with your Calamities, with your Baxia, with your own True Kings. You know, you have a lot of monster removal, so you don't really need Agni Mazood for the monster removal. What you need him for is his actual effect to summon, because sometimes you need another True King. Like, for example, if you make your Calamities, you're going to need a True King so you can call its attribute and kill 2 of your opponent's monsters just to clear boards and just overextend your combos. So that's what he acts as. In addition to that, his actual effect when he's destroyed to add any non-fire is clutch, because when I run out of Dosa Jims, I use his effect to add Dosa Jim from grave to hand, and vice versa. When Dosa Jim dies, bring him back, and then it's Dante Sir, Dante Sir. This is the Dante, this is the Sir. You know what BS do, you know what I'm talking about. That's how you do the combo. It's insane, and it helps you to grind it out. So that is the True King lineup. So we're literally just playing 9. Now remember, my original build, I just played 11. So I'm running literally 2 less True Kings. It's not hurting that bad. In fact, it actually made the deck a bit more consistent from my particular opinion. Because Agni Mazood, the Vanisher, and Mariamne, the True Draco Phoenix, were bricking sometimes for me. Not all the time, but sometimes. And for some reason, Dosa Jim and Barastos is never bricked. So I've always played them at 3, in addition to them being the actual best True Kings. for their effects when they're summoned and when they're destroyed. They're just amazing. And you actually play a better ratio of their attributes. So they're just better all in all to have in hand. So you just play the 9 True Kings. It's beautiful. It works perfect. I have actually debated with myself whether or not I play Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix just to recycle my True Kings. But my games never last long enough for that to be relevant. I've never really had a game where I burned through all of my True Kings and still didn't win. I burned through like 3 to 4 of them and I've already got game by then. But who knows? Like if we move into a format where I'm having grind games all the time, I will definitely put in Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix because it's searchable through diagram. Now moving forward to the Yang Zings, we play 3 copies of Darkness. Darkness, he is literally the embodiment and incarnate of darkness. Constellar Sombre from Hidden Arsenal. Constellar Sombre made the Vylons. He also created the Yang Zings and he created Evil Storm Exciton Knight. The Yang Zings are actually the incarnation of what they symbolize. When it says Jiaotu Darkness, he is darkness. That's what he symbolizes. He's the embodiment of darkness. He's amazing. This is kind of like my Zodiac Barrage. He's just not a 1-card combo, but this 1 card, if you open with him in the outlets form, you'll get your plus, you'll get a free Dinlog, you'll get free True Kings, a free Baxia, a free 2 9 Pillars, or a Path and a 9 Pillars, all off of this 1 card. It's insane. It's really, really powerful. You just want to open up with him all the time. And Diagram is the best way to bait it out to make sure Ash doesn't hit him. But your opponent's never always going to open up with Ash. But in addition to having 3 Jiaotus, you have 3 additional Jiaotus via Barastos. And also if Jiaotu's in the grave, you have 3 additional Jiaotus via Lithosagum. Dosa Jim. Dosa Jim is what I call him now. Moving forward, I personally play 3 Beyond the Earth. Now the reason why is because my True King Dosa Jim the Disaster is my favorite one to summon. I utilize his effect to reveal and summon more than the other True Kings, not only to get rid of the problem that is Abyss Dweller, but in addition to that, having him on field when he's destroyed, he can bring back Dinlog. So I find that playing more attributes for him helps me out a lot because I draw into him more and I search him more off a diagram. So we're playing 3 Beyonds for that reason. In addition to that, we need Beyond for the Jiaotu combo. So if you play Beyond at 2 and you burn through both of them, if you do not have a Beyond in your main deck, you cannot do the Jiaotu combo the same. You can still do it, it just won't be the same. You won't get the same plus. And you won't be able to make your Dinlong the right way. And of course, his effect to make your Synchro Monster unable to be destroyed by battle is pretty impressive depending on your matchup. I'm also playing 2 copies of Zafranu instead of 3. I explained to you in the last video, I've cut certain cards down to lower ratios to minimize all my chances of drawing into them when I don't need them. This is a card you never want to draw. And there were times in the past where I drew him and I'm like, okay, I got Dosa Jim. This is actually going to work out. But there are other times when you draw him and you're like, okay, I need to get straight to Jiaotu and just discard this card. And there have also been hands where I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to activate him in Pendulum Scale, flip my 9 Pillars and pop him to get something out of him. But in the long run, I was just like, dude, I need to cut this card to 2. For the Jiaotu combo to be possible, you need actually 2 of him in your main deck. So I felt 2 is perfect. So if you draw 1 of him, the combo is not going to be as potent, but you're just going to have to search your Yang Zing path off of your Dinlong for the combo and recycle him immediately. And then 2 copies of Chi-Wen. Chi-Wen is so broken and amazing in this deck. He is one of the best overextenders. This card is really spiking in price. He's continuing to spike because of the True King Dinos. But I feel that Yang Zings are played best in their own deck. And I'm not lying when I say that. Many people may say, oh, True King Dino Yang Zing is a better Yang Zing variant. No, it's not. Yang Zings is a better Yang Zing variant. Yang Zings play best by themselves. They really do. And I've proved that. I've actually played plenty. I played too much Dinos, in fact. I'm really getting tired of them. But I played plenty of Dino players with the Yang Zings in their deck. I played True Draco Zoos. I played a lot of meta decks with this deck, and I've never lost. Not once. I've lost a 1 out of 3, but I've never lost the match. The 2 out of 3 always went to me. 2 copies of Chi-Wen. 2 copies of Swanee the Fire. It's nice to beef up your synchro, like make a Dinlog at the 3300 booty, but the most important thing is he's a fire, he's a level 4, he's a 1900, and he's an additional Yang Zing to have on field for you to synchro on your opponent's turn, which is very, very important. Keep that in mind, because that's how I do practically every synchro that's not Dinlong. I make it on my opponent's turn. That's just how I like to do it, to disrupt them and also to take their focus away from their combos and make them worry more about what I got going on, because it sometimes will make your opponent forget what he was trying to do in the first place. So 2 copies of Swanee the Fire, 2 copies of Big C the Water. Now, Big C makes your synchros unaffected by traps, which is important for your True Draco matchup, your Chain Burn matchup, and your Trickstar matchup. So you can imagine every synchro you make is going to definitely need to have Big C as one of the materials. The best synchro you can make is to be unaffected by spells, unaffected by traps, and unable to be destroyed by battle, because now the only way your opponent can get over that monster is with a kaiju or a monster effect. And you've got your opponent covered on all the monster effects with calamities, strikes, pillars, and Chao Feng himself. So you've got a lot of ways to lock your opponent out from monsters. One copy of Pull Out, and also one Magma Dragon. My favorite monster that's not a Yang Zing in this deck is Magma Dragon. He's just so insane. He extends your plays to the max. Once you get him from your deck via Barastos, you just keep recurring him with either Baxia or Dosa Jim. I have too many favorite monsters. I really love this deck so much, dude. Like, it's just so broken and insane and overwhelmingly powerful. And the last monster in the deck is actually Maxi. I had to finally just swallow my pride and say, screw it. You know what? Even if I play True Dracos, I'm just going to have to take that risk. The reason why I wasn't maining Maxi is because the area I'm in Houston, True Dracos are prevalent. There's a lot of True Dracos, and Maxi does nothing to that. It does a little bit to True Draco Zoo. But now with Dinos having a mass resurgence and Trickstar themselves trying to focus on the chain summoning, you know, combo where they're revealing Licorice, you actually get to capitalize on that Maxi a bit more. So I've decided to main deck him. In addition to that, he's an Earth for your Dosa Jim. So I felt that he was worth it playing in the main deck. Overall, I just hadn't played him in the past, but obviously, you know, after doing research and finding out some disturbing news, I was like, dude, I have to make modifications to my main deck because I'm ready to win. I'm not trying to lose. So Maxi, and he's obviously the best trap in the game, even though he's a monster. He's a trap that basically becomes a loser turn. Nobody's stupid enough to give you that many cards unless they know they've got game. Moving on to the spells, we're playing 3 copies of Path. This acts as a recovery play and a combo overextender. It's like really broken. I love the spell a lot. Sometimes it wins me games where Diagram just didn't even put enough work in. So Path is just that good. You have to play that 3 and pure Yang Zing. And then speaking of the double Ds, we're playing 6 double Ds, big titties all day, baby. And also 1 Soul Charge, which is a combo overextender and a recovery play similar to Yang Zing Path. It wins you games in this deck. It really does. You revive back your main monsters, your boss monsters from the extra deck that were summoned from the extra deck. They come right to your main monster zone. Then you summon calamities. Oh, it's just stupid, dude. And I also had to put in Raigeki into my main deck because I had to make space in my side deck for a couple things. So I decided to main board Raigeki. It never hurt to main deck it. But I just felt that because this deck was so combo oriented, I wanted to main deck stuff that would have synergy with everything. But basically the only exception now that I'm making are these 2 cards. These 2 cards are the only cards that I'm maining aside from my traps that cannot assist my combos in any way, shape, or form. They can't assist my combos. Maxi might because it's an Earth for Dosa Jim, but you'll never actually want to do that. That's horrible. So these cards don't assist me in my combos, but if you draw them, you can probably win that game. So they're the only exceptions. Moving forward to the traps, we're playing 3 copies of Mirror Force because I do not want to lose to Dinos and especially not Conductor Tyranno in specific. So that is why I decided to main deck this trap. 3 copies of 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. I can't even try to explain this card enough. It's just one of the most skillful traps in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. And also 2 copies of Solemn Strike to sum up the main deck. Be careful with your 9 Pillars. If you use it on a floater that is a Yang Zing and not Denlong, it will miss timing in a Chain Link 2 or higher. If you respond with this as Chain Link 3, your Yang Zing will not be able to resolve. But if you respond popping Denlong being an if effect, he can actually be a separate chain. So you can 9 Pillars in Chain Link 5, popping Denlong. Once everything resolves, you'll be able to activate your Denlong's effect because it's an if effect and not a win, so it cannot miss timing. Moving forward to the extra deck, we're playing Chao Feng. Chao Feng tends to be a lot more powerful negator than Dosa Jim and than Calamities himself because he directly affects the player and not the monsters. His effect clearly states your opponent cannot activate monster effects with the attributes you use. This guy cannot die in the true Dino matchup when you make him right. You want to make him with Earth, Light, and Fire. No babies, no Dosa Jim, no Agni Mizzou, no Conductor, no Chi Win, no Beyond, no Swanee. Only Overraptor. That's it. Only Overraptor. All you're going to get is Overraptor. That's it. This guy will literally win you games. And because he does not affect the monsters, what else do you think he can negate? Masterpiece himself cannot activate his effect. It's insane. And if he can't be destroyed by battle and he's unaffected by traps, what the heck are the True Draco players going to do? You feel me? So he's powerful in every single matchup. It doesn't matter because you can literally have skill drain on legs. And it has a lot more longevity because unlike Calamities, which I played 3 of, he's not a detach. He's a continuous effect that never activates. He has another effect, which I love so much. When he kills a monster, when you destroy a monster on your opponent's field, you can special a worm type monster with that matching attribute. It could be a True King, it could be a Yang Zing, it could be an overextension, you can have instant Calamities. And if he dies, you can add any tuner from your deck to your hand. Ghost, Ash, Ogre, or Winter Cherries. He's just that powerful of a card. And obviously 3 Calamities. People have asked me why I played 3. I've explained it enough. He's just way too powerful. If I played 2 and my opponent True King Dino Dosa Jim banished 1, now I only have 1 Calamities the whole duel. I'm not trying to do that, bro, because I've made 3 in a game. He's just that broken. In tandem with that, we played 3 Baxia, my favorite synchro to make on my opponent's turn, and my engine. Every Yang Zing synchro actually special summons more Yang Zings. He specials any worms. He specials Yang Zings. Dinlong himself specials Yang Zings, being an engine and a synchro engine himself, and the best floater of the deck. Yazi special summons Yang Zings, and you can make this guy invincible in the pure True Draco matchup. I explained it already. Traps, battle, spells. Can be targeted, unaffected by spells, traps, can be attacked over. True Draco Demise has no out in their main deck that can get over him. And they're playing Demise, they're not going to main deck Kaijus. You're going to win. And BLs, because certain matchups, they just can't kill him. I've actually decided to play Blackwing Dragon in my extra deck because of Chain Burn and Trick Stars and Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. There's too many cards that burn. There's way too many cards that burn. So I felt that this card was totally worth it instead of playing Trishula, the Ice Barrier Dragon. You guys can call me wrong or say I'm crazy, but this is just me. This is how I want to do my deck. I want to be ready for everything. Black Rose, make it on your opponent's turn. I explained the combo where you Black Rose on your opponent's turn and then Dinlong right after that. It's insane. I explained it before. Just look at the video if you think I'm crazy. A 1 Herald of the Arc Light. When you go into your Dinlong, naturally I use Dinlong to make another Dinlong, but there are times when your opponent has too many important plays. You want to 9 Pillars the Dinlong and they make Herald of the Arclight. So now if they try to use their True King to pop their babies in hand, their babies will get banished because they're going from the hand to the grave. Instead, they get banished and they don't activate their effects. Baby Ceratosaurus cannot activate his effect, so now they don't get their combo. In addition to that, they're never going to actually be able to get their dinos engraved for Conductor unless they summon them to the field and send them that way. So he's going to win a lot of games, even Light Swarms. He's just too powerful. He really is. And to sum up the extra deck, 1 Phantom Fortress. He's just a card that you really need to have access to because there are certain things that you just can't touch that he can touch. I love him. The side deck is actually 3 copies of Drolan Lockbird. This is good against everything, including Trick Stars, which will be the main problem because they can win against every single deck, no matter what matchup, as long as they go first. So you want to stop them from searching out their, crazy combo pieces, especially when they chain summoning. If they open with the tits, you need to stop their tits right away. 3 copies of Raw Spear Mode. People have given me hate for playing this card. I have my own personal reasons. I want to be ready for everything. I've always side decked this card and will never stop, no matter what people say. 3 Kaijus, I need a Super Gamma Seal, but I have to play 3 now. In addition to that, these are actual attributes for your True Kings. So is Drolan Lockbird, he's a win for Mariamne. And this next card, I played 2 Zephion to be ready for Chain Burn, Trick Stars, and also True Dracos. This is the new modification I've made to my side deck. In addition to his actual broken effect and letting me draw a card, this guy is a water for my Barastos True King. So as you can imagine, the monsters that I side deck actually have good synergy with my main deck so they don't throw off my playstyle. I freaking love this deck, dude. 2 copies of Kaiju Slumber and 2 copies of Dark Hole. So that will sum up the deck profile, you guys. Give me your honest opinion and feedback on how the deck will function. If you think it's good enough or not, just let me know, man. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Have a wonderful day. Mwah. I love y'all. Peace.